Okay, I would like to take some time to go through this composition that I wrote called Pandemic Via CCP. And this is the matrix, or the Babbage square, and this is an atonal composition, so there's basically no tonal center. Okay, so there are some implications of tonality, I admit, in this piece that I purposely added, and you'll be able to hear those, but they're very few. Alright, the original row that I come up with is in this red shaded area. This is prime 0. Okay, and this is prime going this way, retrograde going backwards, so P0 retrograde would be R0 in the notation, and then inversion would be down, and then the retrograde inversion would be up. So that's why you see the same numbers here on the bottom as on the top, and the same numbers on the right here as the left. Alright, the way you fill this out is once you come up with your original row, for example, you would take, like, let's say we're here trying to figure out this note here, right there, okay, C sharp. So 11 plus 5, we add these together, okay, and then that equals 16. But minus 4 gets 12, okay, so we want to always get back to 12. So the 4 would be the 4th note in the scale, okay, and that would give you your C sharp. So let me explain one more thing, is that this scale here, or not this scale, but this tone row here, this is indicated as 0. This is the starting point, okay? Now if we build chromatically, the second note in the chromatic scale from A would be B flat. So we label that as 1, and then 2 would be B, and then C, 3, so on and so forth. Okay, so let me go through one more example before I dig into this piece, because there's a lot to cover. Alright, let's go over here to 9. This is F sharp. And we're trying to figure out, let's say we're down here, we're trying to figure out this square here. Let's say this is empty. So we go 9 plus the 6 is 15. Okay, so that equals 15. We subtract the 12 from the 15 to get 3, and that is C. So C goes in that square right there. Okay, so let me go ahead and dig into the piece. I have explained this thoroughly in another video, and then I do have my 7 tips on atonal writing, which you can look into, and I have that available. Here we go. Okay, so let me explain one more thing here. I'm sorry. The red is the prime 0, and then for clarity's sake, I highlighted in different colors the rows that I use, okay? And we have to use the notes in order. If we're going to build chords, we have to take 2, 3, 4, 5 note clusters together, okay, until we finish the row. So basically, if you took 4 note clusters, you would have 3 sets of 4. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead to the first lines. Prime 0. Okay, I just kind of highlighted the red line here to show you that I went through the entire row, and I don't really have a time signature in this because I kind of did it freely, so it kind of slows and rushes, and sometimes I'll do rhythmically different things. Alright, so R0, retrograde 0, is the prime 0 just backwards. Okay, so see, there's a G and F sharp and C, G, F sharp, and C. So that is going backwards. And you can do that. Prime 10, highlighted in green, follows through. And then here I added a couple notes of tonality just to kind of use that as a indication of tonality of hope, you know, in the piece. Okay, this is sky's the limit with this. You got a lot of freedom. If you want to do strict atonality, then I wouldn't have thrown that in there, but I've been experimenting. So here in P5, highlighted in blue, here's where I use clusters of notes, okay, and they come up with that, and I come up with that, and I end there. Okay, so P5 ends there. I've used up all of the notes, the 12 notes. Here in prime 0, I'm back to the original row, and I'm using 2 notes at a time, okay, in order. Okay, the yellow, once again, retrograde 0, going backwards, and I play it differently. So when you listen to the recording, you'll be able to hear the different ways you can express the melodic lines in your rows. Here, prime 0, okay, I'm taking a good bunch of notes there, as many as I can, and then same here, you know, so, and I finish the row basically with this line there, and actually, let me say that I do continue with the G. You can do that, okay, you can continue with the G sharp, I'm sorry, and then I go down to the E. Once again, all built off the rows and basically in order, okay? Basically, yeah, it's in order. Okay, and that's what you come up with. So you come up with some really unique sounds. This is like exploring space somewhere where no one's been, or a planet where no one's been. It's just kind of neat, and you never know what kind of sounds you're going to get until you dig into it. All right, once again, RO, retrograde 0, it's going backwards of the P0, prime 0, and I take these chord clusters and play those. This is an ending. I'll get to it in a little bit. All right, so that's the first few pages. All right, here we are. All right, so P0 here, I've got that going on the top line, the upper, and then P10 in the lower, kind of like a counterpoint there. Counterpoint in atonality or serialism. And I indicate it by palm muting, so I'm muting those notes. And you can ad lib and do different rhythms. Here I took a different route, a different rhythm, but I use the same rows. Okay, and you'll hear it as completely different. It becomes highly melodic, and if you play those notes with confidence, that it really comes out as a very strong melody. All right, now down here I did something different that usually isn't done, but I experimented. I took the first 3 notes of P0, and then I modulated down a whole step from that A to the G, and took the first 3 notes of P10. Then I went back to P0, grabbed the next 3. Okay? Alright, same here until I completed those 2 rows. And then I played it in reverse, in retrograde. So I thought that would be pretty cool, and it sounds pretty cool. I like it. Alright, here we have a bunch of chords here, and they're all implying major 9th chords, okay? So, but if I'm starting with the root here, P8, I go through that entire row, and then P0, I add that entire row stacked on top of it. So the distance is going to be the same, and P10 likewise, so it comes up as all 9th chords. Here, P5 and P2, like a counterpoint, and as you notice on the recording, I kind of do it the second time through, I do it with a little bit different rhythm. Okay, and here I definitely do it with a different rhythm that sounds very, very melodic, and I like the way this turned out. P2 and P5 continues On to the next. Okay, so P5 and P2. P5 on top, P2 on the bottom, going along until they finish there. And then P4, you know what, I take that back. No, they don't finish there. They continue down here. And then I've added another melody here. So P4 is up on top here, while P5 and P2 are underneath. So I'm layering, and you can do that and get some great results. Here I'm layering with P8 plus P5 and P2. Okay? And here I've got P1 that goes along, and I played that tone row in that rhythm. So many different possibilities. And then here once again P5 and P2 are going along, and then they finish about there. Actually I put stop there, but there's still an A note there, so that technically can be part of the prime 2 line. Alright, now I do start to hint at tonality here by repeating the G's, and then over here on the next page the D's. But I contrast it with another tone row, P8, which is in pink here, and I go through that. Okay, so I'm continuing through. Alright, and this is getting to the second to the last page here. Once again, underneath is P8, and up above is the G's and the D's, and then I drop down to G's and an octave lower here, and I keep those going underneath, while P4 here starts here and goes through. And I really like the way this melody came out. It really sounds good to my ears. Of course, not everyone likes atonality, and most people don't. So I'm doing this for the people that do enjoy it, and that have bought my atonality tips, 7 tips for atonality, and have viewed my many atonal pieces and given me some nice comments. Anyway, let's go to P5. I wrote the notes there just for clarification, and it starts there. Okay, so I start there, and you can dip down as long as those notes are in that row. Even though that's a chord there, okay, they're in there. And then it goes through, and it stops there. P5 ends there. Now here we have chord clusters again. This is in version 10. Okay, so this is going down. You look for the 10 on the matrix, and you put those notes together to form chords. Okay, now as we go to our last page here, we continue with the inversion 10, which actually kind of is spread out. It goes over here, and it hovers above all those G's and hovers above the P10, and it grabs the C sharp here and the E there and the B flat down here, and then the A here, and it continues through with the A where it ends right there. P10 was happening underneath, and that goes all the way to that F note there, and that F note, that last note starts here. Yeah, there's where the F is. Alright, so then I go all the way back to the beginning, and I want to play my original row again as I played it from the start. So that's P0, and I go up like that, and there's, I finish there with that. Now P3 starts here, and I start here on C, G sharp, D, B. I go up here to C sharp, E, F sharp, E flat, A, and B flat is where I finish. The last chords are P0, and that's where, actually these are the three, there's 3 more chords after these because I like the other chords that I came up with, so I added them there, and I'm going to show you that now. But anyway, these same thing, you add those notes, the first 4 notes of P0, the next ones, whether they're 4 or 5, and then the last ones. Now over here, I added this for the ending here. This is called optional ending here. I like this, and so once again, same thing. Take B5, prime 5, your row. Play the first 3 notes, the next 3, because I have G doubled there, and then the next 3, and then I take another 3 here, F, C, and B. And then I add just a couple of my own notes in there, but these notes still linger on in there, the F and the B, and that ends the piece. So hopefully you got something out of this video, and I'll talk to you later, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.